Hey, how's it going, top 11 managers? Hola, amigos, seus ratos, obrigada. My best attempt at Portuguese there. My association is all from Brazil. They speak Portuguese, and I'm using a couple of the players from their teams and talking about how they manage their teams. This is just kind of a introduction to the white and gray skills and maybe just some different ways to look at those skills, especially if you're maybe losing to some teams that have lower percentages or having trouble beating teams that are around your overall team percentage or a little higher than your overall team percentage. I think the trick to the game is that you're going to get placed with people that are near your same percentage at the beginning of each season, and you need to figure out how you can beat those teams, and especially how you can beat the teams that their overall team percentage goes up a lot more than yours. And the way that you can do that is by building better players, especially by building players that are better than your opponent's players. So your opponents are going to have they're going to take your team percentage up less, and they're going to be better because their skills are going to be more specific to what they do. Like a striker using his head to score, you're going to need that heading to be really high in order for it to make a difference versus your opponent. And if you keep all the other skills low, his overall rating is going to stay here, but his heading is going to be up here. So when a cross comes in, he's going to score. And I've got a bunch of arrows and charts and circles to try to make me look smart. We'll get into the video. Yeah, guys, 180% is a very important number when it comes to training. You're going to hear about the 180% rule, and basically what we're just trying to do is we've got 15 skills, 180% go into each of them, so that gives you 2,700% to work with total. And theoretically, we can distribute that, or try to distribute that however we want to, right? So take away one from one skill and give it to the other skill. We've still got 2,700, and then that gives you an idea of how you're going to start to pick apart your skills you don't want to be high, right? So maybe I could give all of that theoretically from a skill that I don't need so much for this position and give it all to a skill that would be really nice for that position. In this case, passing for a center, right? Not a bad skill to jack up like that. So imagine taking all of those gray skills to zero and then distributing those points where you think that they're going to be best for that player. And you know, the next level to this is, can we get those gray skills to negative and create even more opportunity? And this doesn't just create high skills, it also creates an opportunity for you to continue to train your players as they get older. Because when those gray skills are negative like this, there's just, one more example in case you're not getting it. 2,700%, that's the number. So this obviously can't happen, but the idea is that we want to get these players to have high skills where it matters most. And Renato, a member of my association here, he really has a great example of that on his team. When I started last season on the association, I saw him beating teams that were 25 and 30% higher than him, and I obviously wanted to know right away, how is he doing this? So I got in and I started digging in, and here's a typical opponent with a little bit different setup, but a pretty typical setup. And here's his players. These are your standard players with high gray skills. You're not going to be able to train anything else with this player because those grays are so high. You're going to be stuck. There's no exceptional skills here. Nothing that's getting up into even the 150s on this player. So, he's just, there's nothing exceptional about these players. And I don't mean to be saying anything negative about this manager, because honestly, my players are pretty much the same way. There's nothing too exceptional about my players. They look a lot like these players. But when you get into these higher levels of competition and you're going up against mostly teams that are going to have higher percentages, you need to find an edge so that when you have a lower percentage, you can win. And just right off the bat, you can see Renato, he's got a 30-year-old as his top player. He's a scorer, and look at the formation. It's just such an outside the box formation with those two scorers in the mid left. back there, and look at this player, man. I mean, just a masterpiece, really. You know, he's got 10-star scoring and passing skills, but he's a 6-star player. So he's going to get counted. Renato goes in at 87% and plays against a 117% player and gets 1 win and a draw. And it's because he's got a player like this and he's thinking outside the box. That player doesn't need to have defense. This is my top scorer right here. I'm really proud of this player, but you can see 260 finishing because he's been the top scorer in league 2 years in a row. This was my first academy player. He is a fast trainer, a medium fast trainer. He's solid, but you know, I came into my association thinking I was special, and this is my association captain, and my percentage was higher than his at the time, and I thought, well, let me challenge him to an association friendly and see how I do. I really thought, you know, I was going to kind of teach him some things and help him, you know, be a better player. But he's been around for a little bit, and this association, these managers know what they're doing, and I'm really fortunate to be in that association. Antonio, I know Antonio beat me. I don't know exactly. He said the score was 7-1. You know, we'll go with that. I don't know for sure, but look at this player. This is why. This is outstanding. This is a work of art. You see those 1% gray skills. That means those are negative, and he's going to be able to keep building this player back up season after season after season. Compared to this, you know, the 160% player. Now this is hopefully my future player that's going to look like those players, but it's going to take a couple years to let those grays drop down a little bit more, and then I'll start training those skills up higher. But that gives you a little idea of the differences in the skills. All right, guys, that's it. Short and sweet. Like I said, just an introduction to get you thinking maybe a little bit differently if you're not training specific skills this way. I'll be coming out with another one in the next day or two. I'm going to keep them short, and these are more intended, obviously, for beginners. Like I said, I'm level 4. Hopefully other people that are, you know, around my level start watching these, and we can bounce some ideas back and forth off each other. Love it if higher level people see them and you know, correct me or point me in the right direction. And I do want to say, if you're ready to look at some next level stuff and get more into the math and like the deeper analytics of it, one person that I've watched a lot of and that I've learned a ton from is Apollo Rock. My friend Lightning actually told me about him, and you know, Apollo's been playing for a long time, and he really understands, you know, the game engine and how it works, and he's got the math and the science behind it. You know, more of like a role player and having fun, and I'll catch a little bit of that stuff, and then hopefully be able to you know, share that with people. And just kind of bridge that gap into maybe how you can role play this game and play it a little intuitively, play it based on how you would like to do things in real life, but also understand a little bit of what's going on, you know, with the game engine and behind the scenes, so that you can still build a player and find a way to role play. You know, I just think of this like any sport. A young player that comes up, if you throw him into the biggest stage before he's had time to get prepared and to be brought up properly, he's probably going to fail, and he might not come back from it. And you just hear that kind of talk in the sports world all the time about bringing a player up properly, about bringing him along slowly. And that's what I look at this as, is that you're getting a player. I've got a 19-year-old player. It's my second season. He's a fast trainer, but I'm going to be patient. And I'm gonna train him up, and then I'm gonna let those gray skills drop down. And after a couple of seasons, those gray skills are gonna be down enough that it's gonna give me that extra little boost, because those gray skills, they don't go up as fast as the white skills. So once you get your white skills trained up as high as you can, you know what, we'll get into that the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Obrigada.